So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start off with a single pink wig. That is going to be your base, and you're going to get a second pink wig, and you're going to take the tracks from that one and you're going to build these together. If you want this to be as big as possible, you can get a third wig. I opted just to do the two because I know for a fact if I do want to take this to a con again, it's gonna be a mess. And I'm like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not down for that. But yes, I got both of my wigs in 26 inches in length. They were about $10 each, so a $20 wig, not bad, right? But I go ahead and I pin the tracks from the second wig that I cut up onto the first wig. And I'm just gonna warn you guys now, your wigs are going to look ugly before they look better. Just like basically anything, like when you're cutting out patterns, it doesn't look great because it's not all put together. So you're gonna go ahead and sew this puppy. I just do a loop stitch on the wefts here. I don't recommend using hot glue just because my method for curling might actually melt the glue and then your tracks are, well, not usable. However, if you curl both wigs separately and then cut the tracks and glue them, you might be able to get away with it. I did not want to do that. I prefer to just go ahead and sew it together while it's straight so that I don't have to push, pull, or disturb any of the curls that I create. And I highly recommend you do the same. But yes, and then a plop, 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 the very, very base, not base, the top of the second wig that we cut up. A lot of these cheaper wigs will have like a little circle, a dome at the very top that you can leave behind. This one didn't have that, it just had wefts all the way up, but I still kept that little circle intact and didn't cut it all the way. And I sewed it from the very, very tip top where the only real scalp is, and I sewed it onto the base wig, and you can see how full, how thickums this wig is now. Like the bangs, you can't even see through the bangs, and that's exactly what we want. We want big, big hair. And then from there, I went ahead and started cutting the wig. Now what I'm doing isn't necessarily for thinning, it is for layers. However, I'm not going to cut it the way you normally would for layers, which would be, you know, take the hair, pull it out straight, and then cut. I'm not doing that because I want the layers to be not strange. Strange is not the word. But I just want some curls to be extremely short, some extremely long, and I don't want it to be even, if that makes any sense. So I go ahead and I put my rollers into the hair because we are going to steam this wig. If you've seen any of my other tutorials, you will know that steaming my wigs is something that I do. It's my go-to. That's what I was taught. That's what I do. I am not the best at putting rollers in wigs though, so please do not judge me on that. But you will see that these curls come out poppin'. If I do say so myself, they are poppin'. Just saying. Especially the front curls. The front curls, I'm just like, wow, wow. But yes, this is what it looks like when the entire set is in. I did use bobby pins to help it along because again, I am not the best at curling or putting them in the rollers. I'm not the best, so yes. And once you have it all like that, you're gonna gently, mind you, take a plastic bag and shove it on top of the wig. Okay, I'm just kidding. Don't actually shove it. Just like gently work the bag on top of the wig because this is going to be a huge, huge wig. And something I want to preface is wigs on wig heads. Maybe it's just because I have a huge head, but wigs on wig heads will not look as big as they actually are when they're on your head. So if you're like, oh, this is very small. This wig looks, excuse you, this wig looks very, very small. No, I did that. I was like, this looks a little small. I did that with my Ursula wig, and I put the wig on and I was like, oh, it's huge. It's actually huge. Wig heads sometimes are not the same size as your actual head. So your wig might actually look ginormous on you, so be careful of that. If you have to put the wig on a couple of times to make sure that it's right, please do so. But we just take the steam, pop it underneath the plastic bag, and I do that for about 20 minutes, and then I go through, let it dry, and then I do it again the next day. That way it is super, super duper curled, and you can see here, as I'm working with the curls, that it just gets super, super curly. And I even use the large rods too, so, you know, that's pretty impressive for such large little curlers. But yes, so the steam is basically locking it into place, and I let it air dry. I do not blow dry. You can blow dry, but I don't recommend it, mostly because if you haven't done this before and you start blow drying, you could melt your wig. You could get more flyaways, you could disturb, you could just do a lot of stuff, and you don't want to do that. So I take my fingers and I rake through the curls and I separate them, I jiggle them around. You gotta get them poofy and separated before I start teasing. Now this is what I mean when I say it's going to look bad before it looks good. Because the teasing process, as you can see, again, it's 2 wigs put into one, so it's going to be a lot, but also you are going to back comb it, but use hairspray. So what I do is I brush it straight at the roots, make sure there's no tangle, spray it, back comb it, and then use the hair dryer to help it along. So if you've seen my Ursula video, then you know that I like to use polyfill sometimes for my bumps. That is what I've done here. I've used polyfill, and then I just take some hair and back comb it over the polyfill in order to make it give that big voluminous look that rose quartz has. From there, I take a second layer. I spray it with some hairspray. I tease just a teensy bit. We want it to be a little bit flatter than the first section, and then I comb it over. And I also use my fingers at times to help it along to smooth it out. From here, I will do a third layer, which will be the very, very top layer. And that layer, I will definitely only use my finger to comb it for the pure reason of I don't want streaks in my wig. I did end up getting some streaks because I messed up at one point with the hairspray and the dryer. Don't do that. Because if you mess up, you're going to be like me. Don't do that. And you can see me here blow drying the wig to help it along. I'm basically combing out some of the kinks on the top. I'm not completely doing that because I do want to leave some of it a mess while I do the bangs, because I don't want it to disturb the bang or the fringe, and I don't want the fringe to not blend in with the very top of the hair. So see, as you can see on the side here, it's kind of a mess. You're going to want to keep it a mess for just a little bit while you work on that fringe. That fringe needs to blend into the side of the hair, which then needs to blend into the back of the hair. You can see me making some adjustments to the bump. Do that, make your adjustments, but don't make it completely flat or seamless just yet. You can see me working that along. And here I am just figuring out what the heck do I want to do with this fringe? Like, how do I want it to lay? The important thing for me, and I'm going to tell you this, is because if you're like me, you like things to work for your face. I think a lot of people think that they have to be 100% accurate. No. You can be as close to the character as you want to be, or not at all. I like to be as close to the character as I can while still making it look good on me. I think a lot of people forget that they can do that. You can make this look good on you first and foremost, while still keeping true to some of the elements of the character. Now what I've done is I went ahead and backcombed the under layers of the curls, and I did that in about 3 different sections per each face curl, the curls that are framing my face. And then I took my finger and my comb and I just smoothed out the very top layer. I took hairspray, sprayed it, smoothed it on, comb it, and I keep doing that over and over and over again until it lays just as flat as I need. So you can see me smoothing it with my finger there. And I basically do this over and over and over again until I am satisfied. So there's going to be a lot of hairspray. Please wear a mask or a respirator. It's a lot of hairspray. You know what I mean? But yeah, I also like to use Aquanet for wigs like this because I like to use Got2b glue for bigger wigs. And I knew that this wig was going to have lots of big curls and things like that. I didn't want to weigh it down too much. I also just knew I was going to work on some of the curls after my first couple of passes. And with Got2b glue, if I put that on and then I took my blow dryer and just dried it the way I'm doing with this one, I would not be able to work with it again. It would need to be washed, and that's not what we want. So you can see me again just continuously going over and over and over again, brushing it out, using my fingers to smooth like you see there until I'm satisfied. And then I just push the curls in the direction that I want, and then I take a buttload of hairspray again and I cover that sucker and make sure it is chef's kiss. And you can see me doing that same thing to the side here. I have to be careful, and I think that this is another good tip for you. Be careful because you're going to want this to blend in together. And if you are a little too overly enthusiastic and doing the side pieces with the spray and the back combing and all that good stuff, that you don't think about smoothing it into the sides, it can look a little funky, I will say. But again, I just did the same thing over here. I just did a layer, back combed it, and then smoothed the top layer over and over and over again using my comb and my fingers. And I took a lot of time on the sides for good reason. It's actually a little funny because while I was doing this wig, before I took the film shots of me wearing the wig, I headbanged in the wig and I was like, oh no. So I have some flyaways in like the beginning sequence of the video because I headbanged and I was dancing around in the wig and I was like, oh, I should have put more hairspray. However, I took the pictures before I headbanged, so the pictures look great. It's just now I have some flyaways in the video, but that's okay. You know what I mean? The pictures look, again, chef's kiss. So we stand that. And yeah, so make all your improvements with the curls. Once you get those curls in, then you can go through the rest of the wig and smooth it out. Smooth it out. But yeah, bam! That's what I have so far before doing the final smoothing. I did take my finger on some of the curls with some hairspray and then twirl it around after I took this footage here. So it kind of helped them along a little bit more. And then you can see me in the bathroom and how good, look, oh yeah, look how smooth that looks. That was before I did the head banging. And yeah, so this is my rose quartz wig. I hope that you liked it. If you did like it, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media. Thank you so much to my patrons. This is my Patreon shout out. I am very grateful to all of you, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Follow me on all my social media. Twitter and Instagram are my most used, and I will see you next time. Bye.